Rose Cottage really kind of stems back to what I started out doing, which was replicating a house that somebody was either going to leave or not see again for a long time, and they could take it with them. But in this case, it was a situation where that I was reached out to be asked to recreate this childhood home somewhere that Art with Charlotte, who you can find on Instagram, makes some lovely stickers and things. It's her grandparents that lived in this house, and so I was asked to recreate it. So I started with sketching out kind of how it would look using all the references that was given. This is kind of my usual method, and then I drew up actual to scale plans of the building, so I could start to create the different elevations and things like the conservatory that were kind of important to the build. I started by also then I began to create the different elevations in plastic art, and then my plan was to cover them in filler, primer them, and then score in the brickwork brick by brick, which you can see here. Now it might look alright to some, but to me that didn't look good enough. I wasn't quite happy with that result, so I decided to actually do it in plastic entirely and score out all the brickwork by hand into the plastic. So you can see here that's a much better kind of example of how I want it to look. It looks a lot cleaner. For the roofs, that was a simple method of creating like a plastic kind of structure, and then I used like strips of sticky backed paper, sticky label paper really, to create all the tiles. I did them in strips and then I scored them in, kind of created like that neat roof effect that you get on quite a lot of houses from the last century or so. And so I thought, once they primed up, they looked actually really, really effective. And you see there's the older brickwork there as well. The coins, which are the corner pieces on the stonework, those are particularly difficult to get right, but we did. The conservatory, I keep wanting to say greenhouse, but it's a conservatory. That was a challenge to try and do, but I put it some acrylic down, and I drew out a template and then created the conservatories based off that template, gluing all the parts in place. I was mentioned as well there's two of them, so that's kind of these houses, so I had to do two of the same thing, which was a really nice challenge. The little outhouse at the back as well, that was a nice little piece that I had to work on. Those tiles, which are like kind of terracotta tiles, they were very difficult to replicate, but I found a way, and I think overall looked really, really good. You can see me now putting them on the bases, starting to get them ready for the gardens. The black space at the back is where there is going to be a switch and a battery, because last minute there was a whole discussion about putting lights in, and I thought, that's a fantastic idea. Obviously there's little details like garden benches, those sort of things I needed to do. Little chairs, those are really fiddly, but it's the sort of stuff I love doing. So the tables and chairs for inside the conservatory are also important. So yeah, the ground cover, this was my usual kind of method of a little bit of filler. I went for a really watery paste, some sand mixed in as well, and that made that I had a good covering then to create like a base layer of soil. Obviously I didn't have the thickness to the base like I would in some other projects where you kind of have a little bit more wiggle room to build things up, but so I kind of had to make the illusion that the ground was genuinely embedded below that surface level, but this kind of works well for doing all those sorts of tricks. So static grass, this is, you know, common sort of thing that I get up to now. On this occasion I literally applied the static grass in with the colour that it is. I didn't primer it afterwards or anything because it kind of suited. But again, you can see all this on a video I think that I did specifically for static grass application, but this is kind of like a quick run through of how I went about it for this project. Remember to keep all your excess static grass. You don't want to get rid of that because it's not cheap, this stuff, but make the most of it. Making sure to go between all the little pavement stones and things. And obviously I had to do this twice as well because we were doing 2 of them, so that was a nice challenge to try and get them exactly the same, or you know, near enough the same. You can kind of see how it's turning out there. Really good. So obviously the lighting I talked about, flick of a switch at the back, coin battery, and you've got your interior lights, just one LED strip light, and there we have it. We have 2 of the same cottage, Rose Cottage, which I really enjoy doing, and to put all the little details in, it's fantastic, like the drain pipes, or the down pipes even. Trying to get the hedgerows in on the garden areas and things, trying to bring it to life. It's in 1/76 scale as well, so 4mm to 1 foot. That's kind of the ratio there of size. Thought the nice detail that was a bit unusual was the washing line covered up in the back garden, like a black pole. But yeah, in these acrylic covers, they really look very nice. Very effective. Using the hedgerow as well to cover up the battery box and the switch. And there's a close look at the little area around the back, which I was really proud of those deck chairs. They came out very well. And yeah, just those little kind of details that they will relate to, you know, that's what you think about all the time. There's a kind of a shot with the lights on. It's really nice. Obviously you got to have your Google Maps shot as well from above, and they look exactly the same. That's, you know, when you look at it with the actual real thing, it kind of, you know, got a good likeness. It's there, you know, you can see how it's supposed to look.